So you think Nürburgring is hard? Think again. Let me teach you how to drive it, but with a twist. Let me teach you with a pad with no weights. Let's do this. So guys, let's take that lap around Nürburgring 24 and let's teach you things to look out for, braking points, acceleration zones, gears you should kind of be in, and in general, the line that I would take for it. So for this one, we're going to use the R18 Le Mans 11, which is the same as the R18, just this one you win on the roulette wheel. So I'll put on the racing hard tires for this one. I've enabled BOP for the settings, but yeah, so let's check it out. So first things first, if you're going to start the lap, you've got to make sure that you brake just right about here. Actually back here, let's go back here a little bit, right? So in most cars you'll be going down this bit behind me at full speed, but this bit right here you tend to brake around about here. So you want to put the braking pressure on, you want to clip this little bit of tarmac right here, and you want to brake in a straight line all the way until the apex of this corner here. So most cars here, second gear, you can run a little bit of the curb and keep it nice and straight, try and keep straight at the exit, and you want to be full speed through here. So on the start of the lap then, it's a very short straight. You're going to come down the main straight here underneath the bridge, and you're going to want to pick a braking point. So how I work out a braking point for this is quite simple. You will see that red number flash on the screen, and when that begins to flash, it won't do it right now because I'm going quite slow, you start to brake, okay? So you'll be braking down 4, 3, 2 into first gear. You want to hit the apex round about here, but don't clip it too aggressively because you will spin. There is a gradient and camber there as well. So for this one, a little bit of braking, bring it to the left, and you want to come through there as close and as smooth as you can, and then gradually feed through the power until you come out the corner safely. So this next corner here, the braking point for here is exactly where this bit of tarmac is right here. So in most cars, where this little bit of tarmac joins, if I can get a good view of it here, this bit right here, this is where you brake in most cars and most tires. So you brake in a straight line for this one initially, full pressure, then you ease off and gradually brake smoothly into the corner, keeping close to the apex there. A little bit of squirt in the power here, dab of the brakes again, and you're becoming smooth into the right hander. Again, keep it here, nice and smooth, gradually on the power, and abuse this curb here. You want to be right out here, full power on this curb, and smash it. By the way, just to let you guys know, this is on a joypad. I've not got the wheel set up. So yeah, I can drive on a joypad very well, manual gears too. So let's go back a bit, and let's explain this braking point as well. So in general, you're looking for the curbing. In most cars and most tires, you can get away with braking round about here, and you can brake full power from here. It's quite close to the corner. As you can see, there are no marker boards, but using this curbing as a reference, maybe something like 5-6 meters into the curbing, will give you a good braking point in most cars and most speeds here. So you brake in a straight line, of course, nice and hard, and as you get into the corner, you start to trail brake into the corner, and keep it nice and smooth, be patient, and just clip that apex there. And then gradually build the power, abuse that curb right there, straight through. So for the Schumacher S, this curb right here is your best friend. This curb, you want to use as much of this as possible without spinning off. So you want to be all the way over here in this curb. So the more curb you take through here, the wider and smoother the arc is through the corner, and the faster you will be able to go through it. Okay? So in some cars this is like a little bit of a lift, in other cars it can be flat. You've just got to use your best knowledge and judgment for it. Okay, so we're through the Schumacher S. We now come on to this corner here. So this green apron right here, the bit of curbing, you want to abuse this as much as you can as well. So the secret to this circuit, the new Nürburgring part, is making the most of the curves. So you want to be lined up like this on the curb here. So this is absolutely acceptable. As you can see, you've still got 2 wheels on the white line right there. So you come into this corner, let's go to the view there, and you want to brake in a straight line for a start. And again, trail braking is your friend, so make sure you trail brake into this corner. You can run a little bit of curb here, get some full power on the exit here, And sometimes a little dab of the brakes will bring you into this apex, and sometimes it can just be like a lift in most cars. Again, abuse this entry curb. This entry curb is there to be used to the maximum. Okay, so now we're approaching Old Nordschleife on the 24-hour circuit. But before we get there, we've got to navigate this corner. And this corner is normally high speed, third or fourth gear. It's very easy, it's very satisfying to do. You want to abuse that curb there. And by this point, I'm normally full power right here. And another secret to what I do here is I get right the way over here, but not too far. And I widen the arc as much as possible in the braking phase into this corner here. And you can smoothly brake all the way for a late apex, all the way through that corner. Okay, so it's a short squirt of power, and now you're on to the Old Nordschleife, my favorite of all the parts of this circuit. So this is just a simple case of going through the corners and keeping your momentum, not braking too much and not clipping the grass. So these curbs, some of them you can use, some of them can't. I guess it's experience that kind of paves the way, but we'll find out. So you get to about here, you want to brake down to third for this one, and you want to be second for the apex of this one. Always second gear. Don't brake too hard or too suddenly, you will unsettle the momentum of the car. And you want to be back into second gear here, maybe third, a little squirt, and come through here. A slight dab of the brake sometimes, maybe like a little bit if you're going really fast. And that will get you through to here. Keep the car straight on the exit, and you can abuse that curve a little bit and get on the power. So now we're onto this one, second gear. You can hug the curb here, and you want to smoothly come out here, sometimes change up a gear, abuse that curb, and full power all the way down to this section here. Very close and narrow. Some people like to overtake here, but it's all well and good. So now we're actually at the Flugplatz, where cars actually take off. So in a race car, you're normally okay here. In a road car, you're normally going to have the front completely lift up in the air at that hill. As you can see, it's massive gradient on that hill. So for most cars here, what you want to do is, it's normally like a gentle lift if you're going through at full speed. So sometimes, depending on the car, depending on the tires, gentle lift, but never brake through that corner. You want to keep all the momentum up through there. So now you've come this bit, you're going very fast at this part. You're going over 180 miles per hour perhaps, depending on the car, maybe up to 320 kilometers an hour, maybe more, depending. So you want to keep to the right hand side here. Stay away from the grass. This corner here is normally full speed or just a tiny little lift the accelerator. And you can abuse this curb as well. Don't be afraid of this curb. And again, when that number flashes, if you're going faster, you want to start braking hard, and then start braking and trail braking into the right hand corner. So hug the curb, but notice how very gradient it is. You know, it's very steep. So you want to be careful you don't bounce off it too much, because if you bounce off that, you're going to bounce into this one and you're going to spin. But these curbs can be used, but I would recommend only using it to about that degree. So if you go a little bit wide, it will bounce you back onto the circuit, and you're not going to go all the way over and start to put your foot in the throttle and spin, and then you'll end up in the barrier. Okay, so this next section here, pretty simple. It's all downhill, it's fast, it's furious, it's left, right, but you want to keep a straight line as possible through here. You want to use those curbs. Those curbs are fine to use, but the straight line you keep through down here, the faster you go. Also down here as well, sometimes depending on the car, a safety lift at this point will get you through, but mostly you can go full power. So normally you come down 2 gears, you want to be at the right hand side, you can clip this curb. Do not be afraid of this curb, but try and keep your car as straight as possible through it. Do not try to adjust course whilst you're on that curb. So this bit here as well, you'll be coming through here normally in 3rd gear. You can have a little squirt at the throttle, down in a second, nice and smooth, but be very patient here. These curbs can be a little bit slippery, so you'll clip that one, and try not to clip that one too much, but you can ride this one on exit. This one's okay for an exit curve. So now onto the bit where I think most people actually crash on this circuit. It's down past this tree here that Jimmy Broadbent talks about. And this corner is generally, you come down to a gear below, and you don't want to really brake too much, maybe like a little bit of brake depending on the car, and keep the apex and the exit. So don't go too wide at the exit, because what happens is you're over here and you're going to be in a world of barrier. That barrier will be your best friend and your favorite magnet. So this is always 2nd gear for this one, so keep it nice and smooth. Be patient here, a little bit of a squirt at the throttle, then full power at the exit there. So again, you want to brake downhill here. Remember, you're going downhill, so momentum is always going to keep you carried. But if you look at the circuit very carefully, you can see it's cambered on the inside. So you can take a lot more speed through here than you think with the actual camber that it has. So this is always second gear. Normally you take a wide entry into this and you take a late apex. So your apex of this corner is actually here and not actually before. So don't turn in too early and you should be fine. So onto the exit then. The exit curb can be used and abused. It's very friendly, just like that, it's fine. And for this next left-right section, very, very tight and twisty. Normally I can do some full power in most cars in wheel or joypad. Don't be too afraid of these curbs. This one can be a little bit slippery, but yeah, you want to do that. So coming through this section here, normally change down a gear. You want to do miss hit miss through here, and you want to hit that late apex there. So also another place where people get it wrong a lot and crash is what does that say? Weierscheifen. Yeah, as you can tell, guys, German is not my favorite language, or I've never learned it, so yeah. Okay, we'll call it Weierscheifen. Okay. So anyway, you come down this one. Normally you're going to be around about maybe, excuse me, about fourth gear here. So you want to come down third. You want to be second at this curb here, and you want to keep braking, braking, braking. Now, the part about this part here is this is the slowest part of the course. This left-hander corner right here. Now, if you're using manual gears, which I will come into later on, you can either keep it in second, but be mindful and brake all the way to a late apex. Or if you find out you're going too wide, if you drop down a gear into first gear, the over rotation of dropping down the gear kicks out the back end, and it helps you through to the apex of the corner and you get through. So change up to second and early change up, get on the power as soon as you can, and then smoothly come out of here and over to the left hand side. So now we're almost halfway through the lap. So we'll come down this section here, the section with the beautiful trees. So you want to stay to the right here, you want to brake in a straight line. Normally you come down here in third, maybe second. Hit that apex there. Do not go too far over here because you're just going to bounce and you'll slam into the wall. So try and keep within the curbs and the limits there. This section all the way to the left hand side, and you want to brake down the second gear and notice how it's uphill, it's cambered, it's very bumpy and very tricky. So if you can look very closely at the screen there, you're going to see the actual camber in the middle of the corner, and I don't think you can really see it. I can just see it myself. There's like a little bump. And with the Porsche GT3, for example, in the 911, that car hates this corner. It will lift up the front end every time you go through there at a decent speed. So it's something to be very wary of. And you can get a really bad snap oversteer through here. So you can see that gradient. It's a lot of gradient, there's a lot of camber. But right here, I think it's right here the bump is, right about there. So you've got to be careful of that bump, because that bump will just snap you left into this curb, and this curve will bounce you back onto the circuit. So always something to look out for in Group 3. Okay, so this part's pretty simple. You just go full speed down this part here. Tires are freezing cold because I'm going slow. This corner here, it's usually full speed in every single car in the game. So just make sure you keep a smooth line. Try to get back to the left as soon as possible, and as soon as the red light starts blinking in your suggested gear indicator, you want to come down smoothly and not jerkily into second gear. You want to brake right until the apex here, and then smoothly you want to get back out on the power, drift out the right. You can use that curve a little bit, and your full power onto what me and Void call the Bass Straight. So with this straight here, you've got 4 apexes on the left hand side. You want to try and keep as close to that as possible. There's one, there's another one, and there's another one, and you'll finally get one more over here. So you just want to keep those apexes nice and clean. You want to keep the car over the right hand side here for the shortest line possible and through. And this bit is obviously full power, as all you guys would know. So this next corner, sometimes it depends on the car, but you want to be over the right hand side here. You can flick it down a gear. You can sometimes just have a safety lift. Sometimes it's a little dab of the brakes. Keep to the inside because you can carry a lot of speed through here. And be smooth and let it wind out to the apex. There's not a lot of curb there to use, but you can use a little bit of curb there, and if you smash it just right, you can get a great time through that corner. Okay, so on to the next one then. This one is usually full speed in most cars, sometimes just a safety lift will get you through here, and on towards the next tight corner. So this one, again, blink when the red suggested indicator says to blink. And you want to come down and you want to hit the apex right at this point. Sometimes it's a late apex, you know, you don't want to turn in too early because the way the car is. Let it drift out here. Try not to go bouncy over these curbs because you'll end up going smack in that barrier. So try and keep a straight line through here. It's a very twisty part of the circuit on towards the carousel. So first gear in most cars, maybe second if you're feeling brave. Normally about 60 miles per hour, 100 kilometers an hour, you'll go through here. So just want to keep it nice and smooth, keep it within the lines there, change up every second, blast it on the actual exit there. And again, coming on to old Norris life now, you want to keep this curb here. Normally this is full speed, maybe a safety lift in really high power cars, but normally that's okay. And this bit is very rewarding as well. So third gear is normally your best friend for this circuit, this part of the circuit. Third gear, you want to whip it left, you want to keep over the left hand side, you want to whip it to the right, and you're ideally trying to get over this curb here with two wheels. So you can see this curb's quite high, but it's a very friendly curb. It looks a lot more friendly than it actually is. So then you gently unsettle the car there, that's perfect. You then go through here, second gear, you then want to smash on the power and come down to this section here. Now this section just requires a safety lift. Sometimes you'll be coming through here at fourth, you'll be just dropping down here at third, you would not need to brake, and try and clip the curb there and the curb there and full power on the exit using that curb here. This one, sometimes second gear, depending on the car, second or third gear. Come wide, but don't come too wide because you'll get snap oversteer and this is where you can crash too. So this section here, second gear if you're going incredibly fast, third gear if you want to keep it nice and smooth all the way through until the exit. This one as well, it's always a change down the gear, a little dab of the brakes, and this curb here can be abused a hell of a lot. You can get actually right over here. If you see how far I am on the curb, you can literally get that far over without having any danger of the car at all. So that being said, okay, we'll get moving again. So this is YouTube corner. YouTube corner, you take it smoothly in. Now you want to have a dab of the brakes, and you will change down the gear perhaps, and you want to keep it nice and smooth all the way through. Use this exit, don't use the exit curb unless you really have to, because it's quite high and you want to be over here on the right hand side as fast as possible. So this corner here, always second gear, take a late apex in. Late apex, keep the car straight, and you can straighten this and straight over this curb here. So be careful, it's very bumpy up here. If you're using a wheel, the wheel will chatter about like this and just be absolutely crazy through here. And keep the car straight as you can through here. Where the little dip right here is, this is the change down point, so you'll be coming down to second gear, depending on the car of course. So come through here again, you want to feather the throttle. Sometimes you want a bit of a safety lift through this bit, lift and then power, and that will get you down here. And this should be full speed in most cars, so you want to keep the left on this part here, you want to keep to the right again on this one. Just clip those apexes one by one, and the faster you clip them, the faster your lap time will be. So this corner here, you can come down into fourth gear, sometimes third. You can carry a lot of speed through here, more speed than you actually think you can. A little bit of dab of the brakes, keep it wide and bring it into the apex there. This curb here, you can use it a bit, don't use it too much. You've seen me get a bit wide in there guys a couple of times. And the mini carousel, usually always second gear, and try to keep to this limit here. Try not to go over, because as you can see with the camber on it, if you go a little bit too far to the right hand side over here, you'll be on like a flat part of the circuit, but you can carry all the speed through the camber section there as is. Right, so we've always completed the lap now, so we have a short squirt of power and we get onto the back straight. So for this one here, keep to the right hand side, sometimes squeeze the brake a little bit and come down a gear, and just want to keep it nice and smooth through here. If you're not sure, have a little bit of a safety lift at this point and then smash back on the power. Full power again, keep the right hand side, and we're coming down the final straight again. So far you've done around about 14 miles of this circuit. If you look over here to the right hand side, you'll see Nürburgring Castle right on the hill. And you want to keep to the right on this side, and as you guys know, this is your only chance to have a breather and relax during the actual entirety of this lap. So full power through here, keep to the right, smoothly bring it to the apex like this. And then with these two corners here, and normally this one here can be full power, but depending on car and tires, normally you can change down a gear for this one. Sometimes I just keep it top gear, full power all the way here. And remember what I said guys, you get to this point here, you brake round about here, and you start to come down the gears, keep it straight as possible. You want second gear for the apex again, and you want to squeeze the power again, and straight line, and that's a lap of the Nürburgring 24-hour circuit. So here's a few minutes of gameplay with me using the joypad on this circuit with no aids and manual transmission on the joypad. So hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and please feel free to like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. So thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Take care for now. Bye bye.